Hello, we are group number 18. My name is Gajiban and my partner is Danish. We're going to be presenting you on Solana. Solana was created to solve the scaling challenges faced by Ethereum. Provides a platform for non-fungible tokens, which is NFTs, and decentralized applications. Use proof of history, which basically means it requires a series of computational steps to determine the cryptographical time between two events. You can track each transaction order by adding timestamps and adding them to transactions. This order sequence is fundamentally different from Bitcoin or Ethereum, where transactions are not placed in a timely manner. Solana is also stateless. This helps to reduce memory consumption because the entire network state does not need to be updated for every transaction. Transactions can be performed sequentially. This makes Solana extremely scalable. Solana architecture is more complicated and supports multi-threading, and it also uses well-known languages such as C, C++, and Rust. It uses the Gulfstream transaction forwarding mechanism to run its programs instead of mempools. Solana is more centralized than Ethereum. Top 30 validators hold over 35% of total stake. The top validators have thousands of SOL staked and control significant percentage of the network. And Solana is able to offer cheaper transaction fees because it processes transactions fast with the technology it uses. So the cost per transaction is significantly low, and each transaction generally costs a fraction of a cent.
That was a great introduction from my teammate on Solana. Let's dive into its architecture. So when you consider the backend, so every good blockchain should have the following properties. It should be decentralized, scalable, and always secure. And Solana's architecture satisfy all of them. So to determine the blockchain speed, we focus on the throughput rate. We also call it as transaction per second, which is TPS. So it is the one of the major factors to know how fast the network is and how scalable it is. So in the standard gigabit network, it has a TPS of over 700,000. So it's like a theoretical upper limit given by Solanas. So one important aspect of a blockchain is to keep its network immutable and truthless. We require a mechanism to make sure centralization is reduced while validating the transaction of the entities, which we call it as consensus mechanism. So what are those? So in Solana's blockchain, we use proof of history and proof of stake. These are the two consensus mechanisms. So whenever transactions are appended to the blockchain ledger, we need some mechanism to validate it based on the number of coins it holds. So this thing is done by POS, and at the same time, the transactions should be timestamped to verify as quickly as possible, which is done with the help of POH. It is considered to be a crucial part of the Solana protocols as it maintains the records which show the number of events happening in a network through a series of computations at any point over time. So timestamping every transaction present on the network is determined by a cryptographic clock. So as it operates on both POH and POS, it gives an advantage when compared to other cryptocurrencies. So depending on the requirements for a network, consensus mechanism might differ. So like for example, we use a mechanism to protect the history of the transactions. So it helps miners by preventing fraud and building trust in the network. For such cases, we use the concept of proof of work. So let's see like what are their core innovations, why Solana architecture is very famous. Now, to surpass the global performance standards, Solana defined 8 key technologies for establishing a permissionless and decentralized network, and these are the 8 special ingredients of their approach. So let's discuss one by one. So the first thing is to optimize the communication process in the network between the nodes. And one of the major problems in today's blockchain-based network is a problem with the clock, because the clock ticks as soon as new block is generated. On the other hand, TDMA handles transactions more efficiently. Even if you consider Ethereum, it takes every 15 seconds and only limited data could be injected in a single block. Here comes the POH, which is more of a solution to this problem as it provides a resource for permissionless time for a network and it is available globally. Moreover, if you consider other blockchains, then they require a validator to communicate with each other to verify whether time has passed or not. But in Solana, we have separate validator that determines the time in its clock by using SHA-256. So even our hashing algorithm is SHA-256, which uses to secure a 256-bit hash algorithm, and it consists of cryptographic functions and gives the output in 256-bit as well. It is most secure because there are no vulnerabilities in it that could be exploited. So collisions are very unlikely, and even brute force goes through 2 power 256 combinations because it is very tough to reconstruct or come to the original value from its hash value. As every validator should have its clock, we need some mechanism to maintain it, which we call it a verifiable delay function, which is VDF. So whenever a block is produced, the producer of that particular block gets rewarded, and that's why the concept of validators comes into the scene. So to know whether we have a slot to transmit a block, we take the help of VDF to acquire it ahead of time. So next core ingredient is Tower BFT. So this is one of the consensus algorithms that run on top of POH such that it could utilize a synchronized clock to the fullest. It gives so much advantage in measuring the timeouts for the existing validators in the network because of its trustless source of time, i.e. the ledger. So the concept of Tower BFT is to make sure that in case one third of the nodes get faulty, then the blockchain still should be in functional mode. And the next one is turbine. So regardless of consensus algorithm, Solana makes sure that all transmitted blocks in the network are optimized as there is no dependability on peer-to-peer messages. So in this layer, like one core innovation was done, which is turbine, which is a block propagation technique. So this concept is a lot more similar and driven by the data of BitTorrent because whenever we transmit or stream a block, it travels into small chunks, or we can say them as small packets with the codes across a huge set of random peers. So to propagate the block, we need some validators that are prepared and set into the network layer. So next core innovation is Gulfstream. So this core innovation is a solution to mempool management. As we know, there exists some set of transactions in the blockchain which need to be processed when it comes to the range of its network. So and we refer to it as a mempool, that is nothing but a memory pool. So no one usually addresses this issue, and the Gulfstream is taken into consideration as it pushes the transaction by forwarding them near the network edge. In between this process, validators act as a mediator, which helps the transaction to be executed ahead of time and lessen the pressure from the transaction pool. So let's consider and discuss about the last three core innovations. So Solana is only one that executes parallel transactions through a processing engine that helps to scale across SSDs and GPUs. Whereas other blockchains are just systems that support single threading. Subsequently, each transaction will inform about the state, which could be read and writes, and running them parallel brings the concept of C level, i.e., it schedules transactions. Now, to store the computations, we face bottlenecks around size and speed. RAM isn't enough, so we bring the computations we face, and now the concept of cloud break comes into the scenario and it optimizes those reads and writes. On the other hand, we have archivers that are considered to be light clients who take a segment, store it, and give poor apps to store the ledger. So this was brief about 8 core innovations of Solana's approach. Now my teammate will continue from here. Thank you. Welcome back again. So we have seen how strong Solana is in the crypto market And this network has astonished everyone by providing so many benefits, when compared to other cryptocurrencies. However, whenever there is an upside in an architecture, then definitely we will face many issues. So let's discuss one by one. So when it comes to strength, it was very popular and very trending because of its transaction speed as well as low fees. So it advocates fast transaction that are 50,000 TPS, and if you compare with the biggest rival, Ethereum, then TPS becomes incomparable as it's way higher. So this is a reason as they use POS and POH, it gained a lot of advantage and due to its low fees. So the next strength is capitalization. So who doesn't know about NFTs, non-fungible tokens? So this industry has exploded in the market and Solana gained a lot of attention by making the NFT marketplace run on its network. So this benefits like all the NFT buyers add transaction are faster with lower fees. So on the other hand, the it becomes the best alternative because it also took over the market as soon as NFT launched. And when it comes to smart contracts, as Ethereum faced a few problems with network congestion, so they gained a lot of trust in Solana. Last but not the least, less environmental impact. So if you're one of those who wants to save the environment or always worried about the climate, then Solana is your best alternative. It all starts with the problem of hashing. If complexity increases over here, then we require more computation power. The best example would be Bitcoin transactions, which emit carbon half a ton of per transaction and takes electricity over 700 kWh. So now you could imagine this scenario if you consider the transactions that take place annually. So Solana's consensus mechanism doesn't require any miners, so there is no need for any extra computing power and uses less energy, make it more greener. So it has some drawbacks too, such as like network stability. So in 2021, Solana faced issue with the stability of its network. Many investors trust Ethereum due to its longevity and increased stability in the market. Solana didn't provide any proper explanation for the instability due to which investors were concerned and unhappy. However, it is considered to be relatively new and every organization had faced some issues when they launched themselves in the market. So that is one of the drawbacks and inflation and fear of projects. So this is one of the reason for cryptocurrencies, to make investors escape from the inflation. So if they want to invest in the coins, we need to consider the supply of the total number of coins that would exist in the future. Moreover, if you compare Solana with others, it doesn't have any fixed supply in terms of number of coins and is trying to increase slowly every year by 8%. So still, it is not the optimal route to escape inflation. Fewer projects affect them a lot as they were relatively new, and maybe we think in the future they will expand as they can gain a lot of attention due to its TPS and fees. So even they have lack of decentralization. The major concern for the investors is that Solana is not increasing their validators. They just have thousands of them, making the network less secure. It is surprising for everyone to notice that Ethereum has over 200,000 validators, which make the network more secure. So this was about Solana architecture, and we are really grateful for staying with us till the end. And thank you very much.
Secret Worm is a communication platform that was created on Solana and designed to communicate directly and anonymously by messaging, phone, or video with any other wallet owners in the world based on only knowing their wallet addresses. Make communications, file storage, and transactions secure from hackers, government interference via a decentralized distributed node network. Trade crypto assets and token crypto P2P or peer-to-peer via integrated escrow smart contract functionalities available in there as well. Secure communication, file storage, and transactions via distributed node network, receive rewards for app use and content creation. And there's also called premium content, which allows users to offer premium content on public channels to other platform users in exchange for payments via SER token. Creating subscription channels and message blast are considered premium contents. Secretarium trading advantages. Instant trade, which a function allows users to directly send and receive crypto assets, including NFTs as well as cryptocurrencies, directly as a peer-to-peer channel. Secretarium wallets are Ethereum compatible and allows users to trade other cryptocurrencies as well. Can be programmed. It basically allows developers to build applications, including like AI-powered algorithm, which can sell at a certain time or certain scenario that happens based on the person's risk appetites and return objectives and time and everything else. Secretarium enables the growth of an OTC ecosystem, whereby the notion of the exchange will disappear. Basically, a peer-to-peer, it will be replaced by a peer-to-peer channel, where individuals can trade directly with each other. Secretarium messaging. It does not collect any sensitive personal data, as we mentioned earlier. Like it collects just the wallet address. It does not collect email address, IDs, date of birth, or physical address, or any other identification factors. And this also prevents, like, in the future, if there was a breach, there is no addresses or there is no emails to be hacked. Eliminate the security risk of centralized user data storage, bypassing any central points of failure, because it's node-to-node channel, and holds messages, histories, and files on anonymous, independent, and non-connected nodes on the Secretarium network. Conclusion. Solana solves many of the traditional issues faced by the crypto blockchain technology. Solana displays a new structure for verifying transactions and more efficient consensus algorithm. Fast transactions and low fees for those transactions. Strong. It's a very good competitor for Ethereum. It's also the stateless architecture helps with the memory and also even some of the environmental factors, because the processing does not take the same amount of powers as Ethereum. However, on the downside, has fewer projects at this time. It is more centralized. There's 30 people controlling 35% of Solana's network, and it also lacks transparency. And Secretarium, when it comes for that, allows exchanges to be resistant to censorship, non-custodial, inexpensive, and highly fluid. And also, there is no moderators. There's nobody watching your messages. It's a privacy-conscious app. Solana allows Secretarium to achieve one of the lowest latency and gas cost. And it's a decentralized data storage, completely anonymous, no data transfers, no moderators, and complete end-to-end encryption. Thank you so much for your time.